So, for the past few days, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Mirage thanks to a code from Ubisoft. And I have some thoughts. This video isn't going to be like one of my regular reviews. Call it more of an opinion piece about something I couldn't get out of my head throughout my playthrough. Plus, I'm only going to be showing you one piece of gameplay, but it's for a reason and it will make sense, I promise. This game is an interesting one. What started out as an expansion for Valhalla has now turned into a full game, albeit a more condensed one at a lower price point than most regular AAA games out there. It is also launching at a very, very tough time, squeezed in between huge titles like Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, and Marvel Spider-Man 2, and in probably one of the most competitive years in video games ever. This unique set of circumstances have understandably caused many to simply gloss over or even forget about Mirage in its entirety. I mean, there's just too many other great games to play, right? Well, if you do happen to be one of those people, in my opinion, you will not just be missing out on a fun title, but perhaps also on one of the best core Assassin's Creed experiences from Ubisoft in a very long time. Big call? Absolutely. But let me explain. Recent Assassin's Creed games in the form of Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla are, by and large, not quite Assassin's games, at least in the way they used to be. And by no means am I saying that's necessarily a bad thing. Personally, I really enjoyed Origins and Valhalla, aside from the latter game's bloated main story. And many would argue they released at a time when the franchise desperately needed a change from the regular formula. However, after that little trinity has subsided, personally, I desperately wanted to get back to an Assassin's Creed game that was actually about assassins. Now, I could have just gone back and played the first title or the Ezio trilogy, of course, but I knew that we had this little game called Mirage on the horizon, which is meant to be the spiritual successor of those titles, especially of the original. So instead of going back and playing those older games, which at this stage are unfortunately a little bit dated, I instead decided to wait and play Mirage first. And man, let me tell you, I am so glad that I did. Assassin's Creed Mirage is actually a game about assassins, albeit in their earlier incarnation of the Hidden Ones. And this is both including the story and gameplay. When you play as Basim, you are playing as a fully fledged assassin. You are visiting bureaus, conducting investigations, uncovering secrets, hunting down order members. That is the entire premise of the game. So yes, throughout your playthrough, you will need to do things like pickpocket key items, blend in to overhear people's conversations, read a note to discover a clue, and heck, even pull out a map to identify your next location, all to help you discover who exactly is the order member that you need to kill. Mirage doesn't handhold you with quest markers that simply tell you where to go and what to do. You have to put on your assassin's hat and think a little bit. And this is partly why playing Mirage actually made me feel like a damned assassin, because I was playing as one, and I haven't felt this way with the franchise in a very long time. But what's the other part of the puzzle here? Well, it's the combat, of course. Assassin's Creed Mirage pushes you to play as an assassin. Direct combat is never meant to be your primary weapon, and crucially, this isn't just lip service. You are provided with the very tools you will need to walk through the shadows, hide in plain sight, and strike down your enemies. Before you take on a base, you might want to first release your trusty Eagle and Kidu to survey the area, identify enemies, and help you mark out an ideal path. Eagle Vision, of course, makes a return to ensure that you can always keep an eye on nearby enemies as well. And then when you're ready, it's time to get to work. Blow darts can put enemies to sleep. Throwing knives can kill them at a distance. Noisemakers can divert attention. Traps can catch enemies off guard. Smoke bombs can disorientate and let you either get away or sneak in for a kill. Plus, all these tools can be upgraded several times over for even better effects. Whether it's the blow darts putting asleep multiple enemies at once, the throwing knives emitting poison, or even the smoke bombs acting as a mind wipe so guards forget they ever saw you. And the cherry on top is Assassin's Focus, which lets you chain together assassinations of multiple enemies. Now, as an aside, I know that Assassin's Focus has become a controversial topic in the community when it comes to Mirage, but just putting that aside for one moment, this is my point. In Mirage, I was excited to try and put all of my Assassin's tools and skills to the test, to see if I could actually clear out an entire base of guards without ever being noticed, instead of just running in swords blazing. You can do that, of course, and once you master dodging and parrying, direct combat can be fun in and of itself, even if a little simplistic. However, to me, it is the sneaky, stealthy, assassin-style gameplay which was the most exhilarating and fulfilling. And if you haven't noticed yet, this one piece of gameplay I am showing you in this video exemplifies all of that. I didn't need to stitch in gameplay from different parts of the game to get my point across, because the game doesn't need to do that either. In almost every mission you embark on, you will be required to channel your inner Altair and become a master assassin. Combat-wise, Mirage takes everything from the original AC games, which I loved, and in many ways enhances them. But let's come back down to earth and be real for a second. Is Assassin's Creed Mirage going to be winning Game of the Year? No. Does the PC port need some work, particularly when it comes to hitching and stuttering? Yes. Are the outfits, weapons, and upgrade system a little simplistic and bare bones? For sure. Is it going to be bringing in waves of new fans to the franchise? Probably not. But Assassin's Creed Mirage is still giving me everything that I needed as a longtime AC fan who missed the original formula. And funnily enough, that also includes it being a shorter experience of around 20 to 30 hours. It didn't need to be bloated with a huge world and big main story. Mirage is a solid, condensed experience with an interesting story about playing as an assassin. Some people may want something more, and I can definitely understand that, but for me, that is all the game needed to do to make me happy, and it's achieved its goal. Really, the only thing which makes me sad about Mirage is that, unfortunately, I do think it's going to be left by the wayside a little bit. With so many other great titles out there to play right now, I find it a little bit difficult to see many more than just the hardcore AC fans wanting to play it, especially when it's about a character that was introduced in a previous game. Though if anybody is interested to check it out, this game is actually a great starting point to the franchise because it nails so many of its core concepts. So let me know what you think in the comments below. For one, are you going to be picking up Assassin's Creed Mirage at all, or maybe waiting for a sale? 2, if you are a long-time fan of the franchise like me, do you like the direction Mirage has gone in, or would you prefer it to go back to the style of gameplay we saw in Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla? Or maybe you want it to go in a completely different direction to what we've seen to date, and perhaps the future Assassin's Creed games could do that for you. And finally, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this one has been very different from my regular reviews, and I'd be keen to know, do you want to see more opinion style videos from me after I play a game, or do you just want to go back to my regular style of reviewing games? Please let me know in the comments below, and until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourselves, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.